Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the GBYWN Australian podcast. This is part 2 of my interview with former GBYWN Australian Heavyweight Champion, WZWA Tag Team Champion, GBYWN Australian Tag Team Champion, ABW Hardcore Champion.
Do not.
Formerly known as Dynamo, Nero, Ray Gay, whatever fucking else. I'm talking to
The
Luke
fresh,
Monet,
the fresh
prince of
wrestling.
backyard wrestling.
Yeah, backyard wrestling.
Luke Monet. Luke, thank you for being here with us once again.
No worries at all.
So, okay, we just talked about ICWS. We talked about the beginning of WZWA. Let's talk about your feud with Jack Wallace.
Yes.
Your ensuing feud after Hardcore Hell 2012 ended up with a showdown at Revenge 2012.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that match and the beginning of your feud with Jack?
Well, me and Jack were both like, okay, we need to have the feud of WZWA because in our eyes, this is the big one. Even though there was, honestly, not much build-up with the breakup of a team that never really teamed.
Yeah.
But it's like, in our eyes, we're like, okay, this is the biggest personal feud that there is going, and that in our eyes should be in history of WZWA. So we're like, we've got to make this big. We've got to make Revenge a big one. So, like, we were doing a lot of things that we wouldn't have done. For instance, I came out and didn't interact with the fans at all. I just sprinted straight to the ring, and it was a brawl and stuff. And that was, in my eyes, my favourite match in the whole feud with Jack, because I feel like Revenge was our best match. And like
does it disappoint you that you feel like maybe you didn't improve from that first one?
It does kind of nag on it, because I feel like Resolution, that should have been the big one. Jack thinks that's the best match. But in my eyes, Revenge, it probably was because of the fact that there was, like, so much anticipation, and we lived up to that with that match. And, like, I loved it. The finish was amazing. Everyone went psycho for the finish. I won my first match. There was a lot of awesome stuff in there. He hit a gyro kick. There was a lot of awesome moments in there. And I feel like that was a really solid match. And I feel like that's part of the reason why our feud was, like... And I think... Did we win Feud of the Year on that one?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I feel like that's part of the reason, or if not the reason why we won Feud of the Year.
Well, it was the only real feud that was really going from show to show to show. So, well, there were other things. There was like a Chaos and Ice thing and a few other feuds, but that was really the top feud of 2012. We move on from there to Christmas Carnage 2012, and it's a significant change from Revenge. You guys go out there, and I believe it's called an Extreme Xmas House of Fun match.
The Xmas House
Big,
of Fun.
long setup with all the posts and having like a rope connecting to all the posts with the weapons hanging off them. The idea was there, but the execution was off.
Yes.
What happened?
Well, I can kind of blame myself for not being pumped up for this one, because... I don't know, I wasn't excited for the idea of an Xmas House of Fun match. We weren't executing anything, probably because we weren't feeling it. It was really, really hot that day as well. I remember that. It was boiling, and we were tired pretty quickly, and the crowd wasn't reacting, so we had to try to get the crowd back into it, but it was almost like too late, almost. I remember a pop I got was when I rock-bottomed him through plywood, and like the crowd went nuts, because it was almost against Jack's will, but I kind of picked him up and threw him through it.
And I would have been like, fuck off, don't do a rock bottom.
It was... well, I don't think I was intentionally doing it was more like the Bray Wyatt kind of slam thing.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
So it wasn't like a rock bottom, but...
But the match it
didn't flow, and it was a mess. But that's why I'm also kind of happy that event was lost, because I'm kind of disappointed with... That was probably one of the only matches... There may be a few others, but that's probably my one disappointment match. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't really blame it on Jack. I just don't think that was our day. Everyone has off days. Like,
yeah. It happens.
Yeah.
Later on, we had the Battlefield Brawl. And, well, unfortunately for you, I'm Mr. Booker, so I decide this is the only thing that makes sense.
Yep.
Luke Monet wants to beat the shit out of Jack Wallace, so all he's going to do is eliminate him, then jump over the top rope and keep fighting with him, because that's all he cares about. Is getting at Jack Wallace.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a true to life situation, you wouldn't care about the championship, you're just caring about wanting to fuck Jack up.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts of only being in the Battlefield Brawl for 15 seconds or however long it was?
I was a little bit disappointed because like the Royal Rumble, the idea of being in a Royal Rumble was like another big thing when we got the ring. It's like, awesome, we can have a Royal Rumble. Like everyone else's Royal Rumble is, oh, you kind of go over the top. Oh, in trampolines, you fall off the trampoline, you're out.
Yeah.
So it was awesome to have a ring, to have a Royal Rumble, and I didn't really get that Royal Rumble feel to it because I was in there for, I think it was 8 seconds. Not sure, but I picked him up. He pulled me over with him when we went over the top rope. And yeah, that was basically it. But, you know, that Christmas Carnage 2012 wasn't really my event in that sense. But, you know, it's how the booking went, and it worked because it made for the feud to seem more personal. Unfortunately, we don't have the footage to show that, except for Lowe's webcam, which I don't even think is on the online anymore. I think that's gone as well.
Yeah, I don't recall that being anywhere at the moment. I don't know where that's gone.
Yeah, that was up for a little bit, and then it's gone again.
Yeah,
but
I never got to watch it, unfortunately. But I don't know, maybe Lowe's still got it on his laptop. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
All right, so from there we get to Resolution 1, the big granddaddy of them all.
Yes, I loved Resolution 1.
And what was it, you and Jack in a street fight?
Yes, street fight. His request. He really wanted a no DQ match.
Okay, so how do you feel that one went?
I liked it. I did, as I said before, Revenge was my favourite of the feud, but Resolution was definitely high up there because we put on a show, and fuck's sake, there was a lot of feel towards it being like a big match. Like I had pyro. Jack was doing his weird gimmick thing, but we're not going to mention that because that's Jack's choice.
Let's not talk about that because he won't want to hear about it.
Yeah, but I had pyro, for fuck's sake. That was awesome. I was the first person in WZWA to have pyro.
Yeah.
No, I mean, do you classify the bangs as pyro?
What bangs?
Do you not remember the weird explosion kind of things?
No, I don't remember.
Do you not remember?
All I remember is you, Jacob, and me got to have a little bit of pyro.
Well, they had these weird kind of like Chris had one where he entered halfway through his entrance. This kind of like firecracker like kind of went off, scared the shit out of him. But yeah, a few people had those.
Okay, I don't remember.
But yeah, I had the first. I had fireworks, and it was awesome. Me and Jack went to that kind of brawling thing, and yeah, it was awesome. We got to do the table spots, all that kind of stuff. We didn't go too extreme with the weapons. He used a bowling ball style thing, but you know, whatever. I did like the match. It was awesome. And Resolution was like the big fight feel. You got to bring it all on the table with Resolution. I feel like that was a good feud ender. Got a Wallace cutter with a chair. But
yep.
What I did find weird was the booking that went from there on out. But that was mostly because it was an open challenge. But we'll go into that in a bit. But yeah, no, I did like it. It was good. It was a good way to end it. I got killed, and then him saying just ended, and I was like, yeah, nah, I will not die. I ripped off Matt Hardy. I ripped off Matt Hardy as much as he got.
And then he gave you a cutter on the chair, which is what Matt Hardy does to Jeff Hardy at WrestleMania. He hits him with the cutter on the chair.
Oh shit!
Which is strange, isn't it?
I did not even. I don't think we thought about that at all. When I said that,
not, no.
I wasn't even planning on saying, ripping off Matt Hardy on that one, but weird.
That's okay.
Backyard wrestling, you know.
Backyard wrestling, shit happens. All right, so next show, all of a sudden. Okay, well, actually, let's get back to Resolution. We have me naming the awards.
Yes.
Of the year. You and Jack, feud of the year. You are babyface of the year.
Yep.
You are most improved, I think.
Yeah.
What else did you win?
Rising Star.
Rising Star of the year.
I believe Referee
of the year. So you kind of swept the awards, and you know at this stage, I've been building Antilochus as being the breakout star from the group of guys from the originals. But you were definitely the next guy in line to be given that opportunity to be a breakout star.
I still feel like I got a lot of those votes because I took people by surprise. Because I was meant to be the Sin Cara, like the botch guy. Yeah. And I was having these matches where I didn't botch and I was actually putting on good matches.
So you were basically the Steel Kemsley of 2012.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And But
you've won all these awards. How does that make you feel?
really, really good about myself, and I'm starting to get more confident in the whole ability, and I'm starting to think, all right, I'm actually decent at this whole thing. I should have more confidence in myself and actually, like, you know, try not be so worried about putting on a bad match, but just focus on what I'm doing now and just constantly trying to go forward and trying to do better stuff than worry about this and that.
Yeah. So behind the scenes, there is a bit of problems between me and Mitch.
Yep.
He had previously stated to me that he wanted to retire.
When is this, 2012?
Yeah. So when someone says to me they're thinking about retirement, the first thing I think is, well, if they've got a title, I'm going to make them drop that title immediately, because you don't say that kind of thing when I've given you a symbol of trust, which is to be a champion. So as soon as someone says, I don't want to do this, or I'm not enjoying this right now, I'm thinking of retiring, it's like, well, that's it then. You're going to be losing your championship. So my thought was, I need to get it off him immediately.
Yep. So
I said to myself, well, who deserves it? Well, let's look at the guy that won the most awards for the 2012 year awards for WZWA, and I was just like, well, you know what? Maybe he's not ready yet, but let's just give it a whirl. Who cares?
Yeah, and it was a weird mix, because I remember, like you said in a different podcast, I was kind of in the mix for the backyard, and then everyone
there was a whole... I can't even remember it clearly. If you remember clearly, please let me know. But you were going to win the backyard title.
I was...
And Alex was going to be the Aussie champion. I don't know how that was even going to work out.
I feel like the whole Mykonos thing kind of shifted it off balance, because the scheduling kind of went weird. But I remember I was meant to win the backyard championship off of... I can't remember now.
Alex was the champion.
But I don't think I was meant to win it off of him. I was meant to win it off of someone else. I don't know. I remember when I was meant to win the backyard title, and then suddenly Mitch is retiring. He needs to drop it, and I'm thrown into the GBYWA.
The next thing you know, you're wrestling Mykonos at Aftershock 2013 for the GBYWN Australian Heavyweight Championship in an open challenge.
Yeah,
you surprised the world by defeating Mykonos
I remember
for the Aussie title. It is a huge championship. It really is, and people may not have at the time. You know, Mitch may not have realised at the time how important that was, but it really was an important championship.
I remember the originals, because they weren't expecting me to win it, because it was an open challenge. They thought that maybe the original booking went weird, and I was like, kind of the throwing, like, had nothing else, chuck them in there, and they went skits, and like the crowd was like was not expecting, because Mitch has just beaten Delcano and Marshall at Resolution, and I've just lost to Jack, and then suddenly I'm, representing Australia in the GBYWN, which is like, for the WZWA guys, and I don't know about ICWS guys, but that's like a big deal for us, because that was us feeling like we finally made it as a backyard fed, and now I'm defending that for not only for the fed and for the country, but for like the originals. I'm like, in my eyes, I'm now like the guy, and I was like, okay, got to kick it up a notch now, because
I see this title reign like a Randy Orton win the title.
Yeah,
for the first time. It's like he's not ready to be a main eventer yet. He's not like up there yet, but we're giving this young guy a test, basically.
Yeah. And I did like my reign. I feel like I could have done a bit more with it, but being able to hold my first singles title and for it to be the GBYWN Australian Heavyweight was pretty surreal.
Yeah.
And like that's how I got to like kind of showcase myself to Rad. Like first time I talked to Rad was about me being champion and stuff like that, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So how is it working with Mitch for that match? Because I don't know how Mitch was feeling about dropping the title to basically a newcomer.
Yeah.
How was it talking to Mitch about this match and all that?
Well, I remember, because I did talk to him about it, and he was honest. He's like, I'm not sure about this whole thing, but, we'll give it the best shot we can. I just saw what you did then.
Yeah.
But he was like, if I'm going to drop it, we're going to have the best match possible.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's giving me all these tips and stuff. He's giving me all these ideas. And we worked really well together. I remember him coming up to me after the match and being like, that was better than I expected. And he was like really happy with that. And I was ecstatic because I was doing moves that I at this point still didn't really have a move set. Yeah. And like he's like, okay, I'm gonna be on my knees, do a flip neck breaker, and then do all this kind of this and that. And I was like, awesome. I'm actually going to be able to do a lot more things that I usually don't get to do.
Yeah.
I feel
so
like
he wasn't apprehensive about dropping the belt to you. He wasn't like, oh man,
He's not like he was saying
anything to you about it.
It's not like he was saying, no, I don't want to do this. He was like, okay, let's put on a sick match. Let's do this because if we're going to have a title match here, we've got to make it the best possible title match. And I feel like we had a really good match.
So I felt like when Jacob was backyard champion and was given a lot of opportunities, I sensed a bit of jealousy amongst some of the WZWA originals. Not naming you, just naming some people did seem like they were a bit jealous. Did you feel any sort of jealousy from a Rex Regum or a Jack Wallace that all of a sudden now you've got the GBYWN Australian Heavyweight title?
I did feel it from Jack, just because of the fact that we've just split up and he won the feud. And now suddenly I've got a title, and
which is
it's fair enough.
Which helps
really
out when he says, "Well, I beat Dynamo at Resolution."
Yeah, it does.
He wins. I should get a title shot.
It does work out in storyline and stuff, which is awesome. But I kind of felt a little bit of like, why does he get that spot before me? I've just beaten him in a feud.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, at this stage, Chris is still kind of the heat seeker of the Fed, and he's like, well, that's not fair. I'm a better wrestler technically and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and he's making all
that was happening.
Yeah,
that was always happening.
Yeah, but I didn't really pay much attention to it because I'm like, okay, Faith has been handed in me at the moment to have this title. Jacob's been placed in this high spot, so we're doing some pretty awesome things right now. I was like, soon enough, they will be up there with us as well. I'm sure of it. And yeah, I did get a little bit of a vibe of jealousy, but. You know, it is what it is.
Yep. So you've had some title defences. You defended the belt against Lowe, I believe.
No, never defended against Lowe.
Who did you?
I defended my first defence.
Sorry,
I believe
Lowe
was
defended the WZWA title against you on Backyard TV, didn't he?
Nope.
He wrestled you on Backyard TV, didn't he?
Yes. I think my first title defence was against Ryan at Wham Bam.
That's it, not Lowe. Ryan.
Would have been
Wham Bam, yeah.
And he won by DQ. So my first title defense and I lost.
Okay. I don't understand why that happened.
He was feuding. He was just joining the feud with Rebellion. He joined at Aftershock, and Alex attacked him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then I, obviously, because I guess me and Alex had a little bit of history, I defended Ryan, babyface style thing. Rebellion comes in, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, my first defense is against him. I don't know who I defended against this, but you were talking about Lowe. It was Hard Time. We had a champion versus champion. He was WZWA.
Oh, okay. It wasn't a title match.
No titles.
Okay, yep, gotcha. That was a good match.
Yeah, ended in no contest.
Yes. So at this stage, you've won 2 matches.
Yes.
And you're the GBYWN Australian Champion. Shit happens, man.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, if I've got a title, I don't care about the win-loss record. I mean, I have a title. It's all good. No worries there at all.
Now, for those listening to the podcast, we are continuing with this within the initial listening of this podcast, but pizzas that we've ordered are about to arrive, so we're just going to have a quick break, but as soon as this ends, we're going to kick straight on with the next part of it.
Can we chuck in some elevator music for like 5 seconds?
Yeah, sounds good.
So
we'll be with you in just a couple of seconds after we've eaten our pizzas.
Cheers.
back here with the GBYWN Australia podcast.
Lovely part 2. Lovely elevator music.
Still on part 2, lovely elevator music. We just had some pizza and
so
watched a bit of tough talk. Bit of a laugh, but back into it now. So the next section was talking about your title defences. So you defended the title against Ryan Tate. You were happy with that match.
Yep. Crowd was a bit dead, but, you know.
Who else did you defend it against?
Well, I defended it against... it would have been... After the Wham Bam
lost by DQ to Ryan.
Yeah.
And then it was a no contest against...
Low. Because of EA interference again. Yep. And then from there, because that was a 2-part event...
That's right. The following week we went back.
Yep, and I faced Jack that event. Because he was like, yep, I've beaten you at Resolution. Should make me next in line. Made sense.
Yeah,
I beat Jack, so I got my win back over him.
You got your win back, which is what we would have liked to have seen at that time.
Yep, it was good to see. It was good to be a part of. That match didn't really live up to the standards of the other matches, but, you know, it was still a good match.
It was still better than Christmas Carnage.
Yeah, everything was better than Christmas Carnage.
Okay.
And then from there, that's when the World Hardcore title started popping up in WZWA's sites.
Yep.
And we started having the qualifying, the tournament. And so that's when the feud with Rex started.
Whoa. I bring that up. Not you.
Well, sorry, you're rolling a cigarette.
I'm asking you about your title defense, is not the feud, the next feud.
You were rolling a cigarette. I thought...
Yeah, no. All right, back onto Jack here, okay? I want to ask you this question. At this stage of your WCW career, what does Jack Wallace mean to Luke Monet's backyard wrestling career?
Well, obviously, Jack was kind of the reason I'm backyard wrestling. So, before I kind of got the title, it was like, he's the reason I'm here, and he's the reason why I'm now who I am, who Dynamo is. But now that I've got the title, it's almost like I'm now branching out on my own, and it's time to see if I can do this on my own, rather than being tied down to a team. Because throughout the entire time I was
tied down to a team that you only with
tied down
in one tag match.
I was neither Jack or I were really certain how we were going to go on our own, because we weren't really a team or an alliance, but our careers kind of revolved around each other for the better part of throughout 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So having to branch on our own was a little bit worrying.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, I kind of dealt with that all right, but we'll also get into that a little bit later as well, I believe.
So we get to your feud with Rex Regum.
Sorry for skipping.
That's all right. You jumped the gun. I
My
just
bad.
wanted to make sure we wrapped everything up before we got there.
Yep.
Okay. At this stage, Rex has paid a bit of dues for the previous 6 months or so.
Yep.
So I'm moving towards pushing him to be the one to take the belt off you.
Yeah.
During this time, Jack, as a solo singles wrestler, as a heel, is not working.
Mm-hmm.
His matches aren't very good.
Yep.
It just seems like you have progressed to this other level, whereas he has been left behind, despite the great feud you guys had.
Yeah.
So, not only talking about the start of this feud with Rex, and knowing that you'll be dropping the belt to Rex.
Yep.
But I also want to know your thoughts on how Jack is doing post-premium.
Well, it was worrying because at Aftershock he faced Lightning Lewis, and it wasn't really...
Let's just say it was dreadful.
Okay, well, fuck, okay. Dreadful is the word you've gone for there, so we'll go with that one. And then Wham Bam, I don't remember who he faced.
Was it Chaos?
Chaos, it would have been Chaos, yep, qualifier. Well, he was... I don't know if that was the qualifier, if Lewis's was the qualifier. I don't know.
Jack facing Chaos was the next round.
Yeah, it was the next round.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And then Lewis was placed in the wild card triple threat thing. Yeah. And that match, it had some highlights, but again, not a stellar.
I'm just thinking to myself, he shouldn't be a heel right now.
Yeah. And he didn't really have the look of a heel. He was trying to do the whole, again, we're not going to get into it, but he was trying to do the whole kind of angry gimmick thing that he had, face paint, all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't working because he looked too much like a babyface. He was young, he was, clean cut, all that kind of stuff.
A young, clean cut dude, he couldn't pull it off.
Yeah.
Whereas like a Chaos, that he could pull something like that off.
Because he looks scary. He could do that, yeah. But at the time, Jack wasn't really pulling off heel. And it was noticeable, but I didn't really pay much attention to it until you brought up, okay, Jack's not doing so well. I'm thinking of putting him back with you. And you're like, are you okay with that? I'm like, I'm fine with it because of the fact that you could see that Jack, it wasn't going too well for him. And if that's what Jack needed to get back on track, then...
He totally did it. He totally did need it.
Yeah.
He needed it. So your feud with Rex, starting it off, qualifying match for the hardcore tournament.
Yep.
He gets the win over you. I believe it's a non-title match.
Yep.
So was this the stiff one? The stiff match?
This was the stiff match that got a lot of criticism because everyone thought we were working really stiff. But in reality, we were making it look stiff. It was not stiff. It was one of the safest matches I've ever worked. It was so good, so clean, and yet ice kind of dampened the mood a little bit. Because, well, I mean, in his defense, he was trying to make sure everyone was safe, but the crowd kind of died when he said, if you don't stop working stiff, I'm going to jump in there and beat the shit out of both of you. Everyone was kind of like, ugh.
Gotcha.
Like mood killer, almost.
Gotcha. So from here, we're doing this little side storyline where Jack's
trying to
seen the error in his ways, and he wants to try and make it up to you and be in a team with you again because he's proud of what you've accomplished after the breakup of Premium.
There was that moment at Hard Time, because that's when we started planting the seeds at Hard Time, when he tried to shake my hand, and I was like, nah, fuck off.
That's right. Planted the seeds and all that.
Got a big pop for not shaking his hand, which was pretty cool.
Yep. And so we're continuing on with there. And what was the next one? Was it the triple threat?
Yes, it was. It was the triple threat last man standing because he was the referee for the Orton Brawl one.
Yeah,
and he accidentally cost me the match. Yeah, in what was poorly executed, but
because it looked like he meant to hit you. But
it looked like he meant to hit me.
It's like just a flashback to Road to Raw.
He hit me and then did the most nonchalant 3 count ever, and then afterwards realized how bad that looks. So he's like, I had to call it down the middle. Like, you just hit me. You can't just say you just called it down the middle. After
it was supposed to look like, oh my god, I fucked it up.
And 1, 2, pause and look at him and then be like, fuck, okay, 3.
It was supposed to be that whole Shawn Michaels Undertaker Bret Hart thing at SummerSlam or whatever it was that year when Shawn accidentally hit Undertaker in the head with the chair. 96, whenever it was. He accidentally hit Undertaker in the head with the chair, and then Bret got the pin, and Shawn was the referee, reluctantly does the 3 count.
Yeah, and then walks off fuck.
Yeah.
And he just, 1, 2, 3. Had to call it down the middle. Sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, from there we get to this first ever 3-way last man standing match.
Yeah.
Thoughts on how that went, and
it was a new concept because triple threat last man standing is new.
Yeah.
Never done. And so it did drag on a little bit. It went a little bit longer than it should have, in my opinion. But there were some cool moments, some good spots. Overall, I did like it because it was 3 originals, the 3 originals kind of getting to display what they can do. Again, should have been cut short a little bit, but when we were able to finally kind of bring Jack and I back together when he took the kendo stick shot, it was a brutal shot. So, props to Jack. It hit him on the neck. That was a bad hit from Chris. He should have hit him on the back, but maybe Jack went in too far. I don't know all the details or whatever, but got hit on the neck. Well done for taking that. Gyro kick, awesome, good pop, all that kind of stuff. And then me and Jack reunite, it was good. It did the job. It got the job done.
It told the story well, and you got to retain the championship.
Yep, which was perfect.
And then we moved to the tag team match.
Yes.
Between the reuniting Premium, now known as the franchise. How does the name of the franchise come about?
Jack just kind of designed a logo on GIMP, not Photoshop, GIMP. Just said the franchise just because we wanted to be seen as more of a serious threat to everyone, which, looking back at the franchise's past, it's now silly. But yeah, we try to be this serious threat, which we ended up being alright. Yeah, it was good. I don't know where the name came from. He just designed the franchise. We're like, okay, that works. That sounds good.
Yeah.
And then Jim's Yarding came around when we had our first tag match since Premium. And it went good. I finally got to wrestle Ice a little bit. Fortunately, the match kind of also got a little bit of a dampened mood when Jack injured his wrist.
Yeah.
And, like, he was he was not happy at all because he landed on it awkwardly. And, like, he really wanted to wrestle that match because it was, like, his big moment to come back after, like, you know...
lackluster.
Yeah, everyone's kind of like, I don't know how Jack is and, like, if he's going to be able to wrestle good, whatever. And he's like, nah, I want to keep wrestling after the injury. Tags in, hits Crash and Burn, and, like, he hits the Crash and Burn, and the bump, like, that he takes after the Crash and Burn, where he just kind of lands flat, he hurt himself again, and he's like, nah, I can't do this, I'm going to go out. So I had to kind of carry it for franchise, and he did his part as much as he could. If that injury hadn't happened, I feel like we could have had, like, a lot of a better match, but it was still, again, storyline, got the job done, put Black Carnival over, because they were just now building up more and more to what their inevitable future would be.
Yeah.
Bit weird, because did you say that, I don't know if it was in the podcast, that Ice wasn't keen on...
That was the next thing I was going to mention, was that you guys were originally slated to be winning that reunion by having you pin Chris. But Ice said no, he's not putting you guys over, I guess because he's headed towards the WZWA Heavyweight Champion. Guess that makes sense in his mind, and that's fine.
Yep. But,
you know, did it bother you that Ice didn't want to put you guys over?
I didn't really mind. I was at the stage where I didn't want to cause any arguments or have an issue with anyone, so if Ice didn't want to put us over, it's not like I'm going to complain. I'll be like, okay, if that's cool with Carl, I don't mind. I'll be fine with putting you guys over, because, I mean, I've been putting people over for a while now. I mean, my first year was putting people over. Another cheap shot at you there, Carl, but I didn't have an issue with it. I mean, Jack, maybe. As far as I remember, I don't think he had an issue with it either, because it's Ice.
Yeah.
But, I mean, looking back on it, I mean, it's not like we were going to pin Ice. So it's like, could have made Ice still look strong. But, you know, it's history now. And I guess it actually kind of worked better because it made them look a lot stronger as well, which is good.
So we get to Frostbite. You dropped the championship finally after winning it at Aftershock in February of 2013 to Rex Regum.
Yeah.
The same show that Dark Ice wins the heavyweight title off Brian Lowe. So your thoughts on dropping the title to Rex? Do you think it was the right decision?
Well, I remember telling you that I was keen to lose it to Chris, and you're like, yeah, that was the plan. I was like, oh, good, awesome. I was keen to lose it to Chris because I knew he was like a wrestler. He could put on some of the best technical wrestling matches. Issue is, originally, I really didn't like my match with Chris. Like, after I had it, I was like, that could have been so much better and stuff. But then Ryan and Mitch and all that stuff were like, that was like a clinic. That was like a technical wrestling clinic. I was like, really? Like, I didn't see much in it. And then watching back the footage, I was happy with it because it went well. Everything was good intensity. Did the whole me kind of injuring my knee and not wanting to quit instantly, and then me tapping out, which was like the crowd was kind of shocked. I don't think Ice knew that I was meant to lose the title. I think he just thought that he was winning the title, and that was it. But yeah, Chris picks up the win. You can hear Ice like, oh shit, okay. So then he's going to go back into character to celebrate with Rex. But yeah, it was a cool moment dropping it to another original, because now every original's had a title in WZWA. Yeah. Even though Jack's was under his control, but everyone's had a title in WZWA, which is good. Well,
eventually he will get the title after I was in charge, which is the section I'm talking about next, is you guys just delving straight into the tag team division.
Yeah, which I was really keen on, because the idea of tag team matches were like a big interest to me, because the whole idea of holding the tag rope, tagging in, all the psychology that comes with the tag match, rather than a singles match, was like something I was really interested in.
Yeah. So during this time, Legion are the tag team champions. During a short feud that they had with JD Flame and Phaser, and from there they end up having a short feud with the Elite Alliance. But while all that's happening, you guys are working Circus Royale for the first time.
Yes.
Hardcore Hell 2013.
Yeah.
I was disappointed in this match.
I was a little bit disappointed as well.
It was one of those matches where, because it's a hardcore match, it ends up being a clusterfuck because too much going on.
Yeah.
And you had some skewer sticks stuck in your forehead.
Yep.
So what went wrong?
It didn't flow, like, at all. It was more of a spot fest, and we got distracted by the hardcore part of it. I feel like I can't remember if it was that show or another show where we also did even though it was hardcore hell, we did the tag team rules where we would tag in, and then sometimes it'd go to shit, and then we'd brawl, and then sometimes it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Wait, no, it wasn't this show, because I remember the opening sequence was us with kendo sticks, so...
Yeah.
Not this show, we just had a tornado tag style thing. But yeah, that's probably a key reason why I went to shit, because there was no real structure to it. It was us using weapons, going through tables, all that kind of stuff. It was, yeah... Could have gone a lot better.
What was it like working with the young dudes?
It was...
considering you and Jack had been, mainly wrestling either each other or people more experienced. Now you're wrestling someone less experienced.
It was cool because I'd been to ETW, their little trampoline fed, and I could see there was a lot of potential with them. And then later on, I didn't even expect it, Ace and Aries, but we had Joker and Fusion come in, which was really cool because they had a lot of talent, and you could tell, even though they were wrestling on a trampoline, they're like, yeah, they know what they're doing. And it was cool to wrestle them. I feel like our first match with them should have gone a lot better, but I mean, we made up for it later on, which was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could see that they had a pretty bright future ahead of them as soon as you watch them wrestle.
Yeah. So from there, you go back into this feud with Black Carnival for one last little thing, with Rebellion being involved as well. The Battle War match. Let's not talk about this too much, but just your thoughts quickly on the Battle War match.
Shit. Just straight shit. Like, that's easily my...
But were you proud of it at the time?
No, not at all. I was, as soon as we came out of that, the only thing I was happy with was me being able to, like, commit a little bit to some of the hardcore bumps. I was like, cool, I've got that out of my system now. Don't ever want to do that again. I mean, one of the only main pops that there was in the match was a tornado DDT that I hit on Jacob because I sprung off the ropes, and like that got a crowd pop.
Yeah.
And like that was kind of the high. That's the almost a symbol of how that match was. Like the hardcoreness was just like overwhelming and almost kind of disgusting in the sense that no one wanted to see it anymore.
Yeah.
So it was like the pinnacle.
My bad, I booked it, so...
Well, yeah, it could have gone so much better, but it was just a mess.
So from there, Christmas Carnage 2013,
yes.
You and Jack Wallace defeat Legion for the Tag Team Championships.
Yep.
You pinned Mykonos again. So your thoughts on winning the Tag Team Championships for the franchise and moving forward from there?
Well, it was cool because Legion were undefeated and was like, okay, this is the new team. Tag team division's almost being revamped in a sense. Like JD Flame Phaser are out, Legion are now out. I feel like there was another team.
Circus?
No, because Circus were a part of the revamped part. I feel like there's a team I'm missing. I guess kind of the Heathridge Warriors. I don't know. Just that.
Oh yeah, for a brief cup of coffee.
Yeah, but like the old teams are in. There's a bunch of new teams, and it was awesome to kind of be like leading that in a sense. Cool to pin Mykonos again, keeping a rivalry that's not even remotely advertised at all.
Yeah.
But like a mini rivalry between the two of us where I've pinned him now twice and he's never pinned me.
Which is something that you've now started to be able to use that.
Yep. Again, we'll get into that one later, I believe.
Yep.
I think you want to do that.
I do.
But yeah, it was awesome to finally get to be able to wrestle Three Dog as well because a bigger guy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jack and I got to finally win a tag title. It was good. We finally got to be that tag team, and it was a good moment. Everyone chanting franchise. It was cool. It was fun. Everyone in the match enjoyed it, I believe. As far as I know, everyone enjoyed that match.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great match.
Had to try to recover a little bit from the Chris incident, but as far as I remember, that came on before our tag match.
Yeah.
Yeah. so everyone was a little bit shaken up, but, you know, not much you can do.
Yep. So from there we head towards Resolution 2.
Yes.
And match of the year, ladder match. You guys, the franchise, Rebellion and Circus Royale in a ladder match. I want to talk a little bit about the build-up to this match. I know that there was a lot of disagreements going on about what people wanted with the match. It was a ladder match, but I was getting pulled in this direction. Oh, can you make it TLC?
I just want to point out there was only one person saying that. That was Jack. No one else agreed on it. Jack was like, okay, I want a TLC match. And we're like, ladder match is perfectly fine. We can do just as much stuff as we can with a ladder match as we can TLC.
Yeah.
But Jack...
It's just the thought, you know, I don't know why he gets so hard over the idea of using tables and all that shit.
Jack...
It's just...
When we got the ring, I remember one of the first things he wanted to have was a TLC match, and he's always been pushing for the TLC matches and all that stuff. So this was like the opportunity for him to be like...
And it's like, you can use a couple of tables, but remember, the whole point of the match is to climb a fucking ladder and retrieve the title. It's not about putting someone through a table. I know it's about taking your opponent out first, then climbing a ladder, but if you have enough time to set up a table, you have enough time to climb the ladder and grab the title. So that's how I felt about it. But anyway... Going into it, you guys did a lot of planning?
Yeah, well, actually we did a lot less planning than we should have. There was very little planning in that one. We're like, okay, here's the start, here's the finish. And if we wanted to do any separate spots, we'd kind of talk to that separate person and we're like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that. I remember leading up to it, there was a little bit of an issue between Jacob and I, which was like the first time, because... I wanted to start doing a move, Cradle Shock, where it was like fireman's carry into almost like the ending of his Key Crusher. Mm-hmm. And he's like, nah, it looks too similar to mine, I don't want you doing that at all.
Yeah.
And we had a huge argument, and it escalated way too much, and then the planning was put on hold, and it was just a mess. But in the end, we kind of, on the day itself, were like, not me and Jacob, we sorted it out earlier, but the actual match, like everyone planning, were like, okay, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll have a good match. Let's go out there and do something sick. And then it kind of went better than any of us really expected. We were all hoping for a match of the day, but we weren't expecting it to be like match of the year. We weren't thinking, because that was January. Yeah. So that was a whole year to come, and we still managed to win match of the year, which was pretty insane.
Yeah.
And it was like the 6 young guys of the Fed all managed to fucking put it all out there and put on the match of the year, which was an awesome feeling. Like the awards next year and hearing match of the year is the triangle ladder match, I was like, yes, tick that off my bucket list.
Yeah.
So that was an awesome moment, and being able to be the winner of the match of the year just was even better.
So I mean, I guess I call this at this stage the golden era of the WZWA Tag Team division. You guys, Rebellion and Circus Royale, 3 fucking great teams, and from Resolution 2. You move on to a competitive feud with the Rebellion. It's not a personal feud, it's just a competitive feud.
Trying to one-up each other in competitive matches?
Yep, so there were 2 shows of 2 separate singles matches, followed by a tag team match for the tag team titles.
Wait, what was that?
Was there 2 separate No.
There was one show.
One show with singles matches, then a tag match.
Yeah, because we ended up having like a Backyard TV, which was kind of like...
Oh, some things happen on Backyard TV, that's right, okay.
So it was me versus Jacob. It was Combat Crisis, the singles matches. I faced Jacob, Low faced Jack. Singles matches, both of them I feel like they could have gone better. I remember I injured Jacob halfway through our singles match when I went for an inverted Frankensteiner, jumped on his shoulders and his shoulder dislocated, which kind of fucked up a lot of the issues. But we still managed to get in there in the end, finish it off. It was a decent match. It was pretty good. Low and Jack's didn't go too well. Jack was knocked unconscious halfway through the match.
Yep.
But they still got their spots in. F5 on the apron, which was sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got the job done and led to pro wrestling, which comes with the fan incident, or the fans incident.
Yep.
Which was good for me. Everyone else kind of had a bad time. Jack and I and Jacob and Lowe loved it because, hey, the more crowd reception we can get, the better. Crowd goes nuts for our match. And as selfish as it sounds, it was fucking amazing. because we were getting reactions from the crowd. And, like, most of Jack's mates were there to drink, but there was, like, a selective few that were there to also watch the wrestling, which was good. And, like, they were chanting and cheering and all that stuff, and it just kind of pumped us up a lot more, and we put on a good tag match, I feel like. And, yeah, it was all about
you can tell once the crowds really got into it, it changed, you guys just went all out.
Yeah, well, we had to, because the crowd was getting way too into it. We're like, okay, we've got to kind of kick it up a notch here. It's meant to just be a tag match for the tag titles. Not just a tag match, like, as if it's nothing, but we had to add an extra little bit of force into it. But, yeah, I did enjoy the little competitive feud with Rebellion, because I feel like all four of us still do work together well. Just like in the ladder match. But yeah, I feel like it went well.
Yep. So one thing I want to talk about at this stage, you and Jack have been a tag team now again for nearly about a year.
Yep.
What's it like working with Jack after all this time? Is there ever a time where you think I've progressed to a higher level and I'm with Jack, who's still improving as time goes on, but I could be doing something else?
See, at that stage, I kind of felt like I owed it to Jack to pay him back, because of the fact that if he didn't bring me into wrestling, this wouldn't be happening at all. So I was like, I better pay him back for what he did. So until he's ready to go back on his own, I'll stick with him, because, like, I owe him one.
Yeah.
And obviously I fucking had the time of my life, because franchise, like, that was such a good time, and I'll be able to say that that's probably going to be the main thing people remember me for when it comes to backyard wrestling, because the franchise was kind of the big thing, Baker Street, leather jackets, half the time serious, half the time ridiculous. Like, it was like the peak of my career, and it's, easy. Like, I have no issue with sticking with him when he needed it. So
okay. So around this time, I don't have the particular timeline up as much as I can remember, really, but you joined the booking committee.
Yes, it was Resolution Christmas Carnage time that you brought up the idea of it, because it was leading into Resolution 2 that you were going to announce it. I think you may have...
No, it wasn't, because that was leading up to Resolution 3.
Was it?
Because Blade hadn't even debuted yet.
That's right, fucking hell, yeah.
But I'm just saying around this time, see, I'm not getting the timeline correct, but around this time...
You started thinking about it.
There was, the idea of the booking committee, so, this might be skipping forward a little bit, but I just want to know your thoughts on being asked to join the booking committee and the reaction that it got, and how a lot of people did say at the time that you are a suck-up to me.
It was kind of full-on being asked to be put in, like, that kind of position, because, as I said earlier, when WZWA started, I was just another guy. And then I ended up being a media guy, and now I'm a part of the booking and, like, figuring out how the shows are run, all that kind of stuff. And I got the kiss-ass thing, like, a long time, like, probably around... maybe around Road to Ruin kind of times. Like, I've been known as your kiss ass for a long time, and Jacob was known as your kiss ass because you were booking him as the hardcore superstar. They're like, oh, he's being pushed, he must be kissing ass.
Yeah.
But most of those comments were from Chris. Not trying to single Chris out, but it's, again, that back in those days was the heat seeker kind of thing. Times have changed now, but yeah, I didn't really pay as much attention to the kiss ass comments, just because I knew I wasn't kissing ass. I was just talking, really.
Yeah.
It was just like just a friendship, and sure, Carl and I became better friends than say me and Aaron, who, on the Fed we talk and all that stuff, but me and Carl would, like, talk on Facebook, have regular chats, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I guess the thing is, every time anyone ever said that to me, because I remember there was a big thing on the thread at one stage about it, and I remember saying, look, I don't think he's a kiss ass. If he was a kiss ass, I'd know. I know when people are sucking up to me. I know how people act. I understand simple human psychology when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
I've never thought you sucked up to me or you were a kiss ass. I just saw you as someone that we're similar. We're similar people, just with our personality and our sense of humour. We get each other's sense of humour, so we get along better than I do with others. And, you know, there was a night where, like, you came over my house. Remember we got the fucking... you got, like, a 12-pack of fucking vodka pre-mixed drinks, and I was on beer all night, and we were just, like, watching wrestling, and I was showing you old XCW and old ICWS, and we were just having a fucking sick night, and...
Trying to sing Dan Zeppelin's theme song.
Yeah, despite the fact, you know, I'm in my mid-20s or whatever, and you're not even 18 yet, but we're having a fucking sleepover. We're having a fucking sleepover. You know, it was just, I guess that is me reliving my teenage years by just having a fun fucking sleepover with a mate.
Yeah.
And me acting like I'm 16 as well.
Yeah.
Like, even though I was probably, 26 at the time, or 27, that's just me trying to be a kid again. And not, you know, growing old. I don't want to grow old, so that's why I keep doing stuff like this, and that's why, you know, I would hang out with you quite a lot, and after talking to you for a long time, you know, I realised that you had some pretty good ideas and stuff, so I thought, well, he'd be good for the booking committee. He's not only just a media guy, but he's got good ideas, and he's someone that can learn.
Yeah.
And he's willing to learn because he's willing to hang out with me, so it's just like Ryan. Ryan always wanted to hang out with me.
Yeah.
So after hanging out with Ryan, he'd learned a lot from me, and then suddenly he was involved. So, and Blade's a different story, but anyway, that's just my 2 cents on the whole situation.
Yeah.
You've never been, as far as I'm concerned, never been a suck-up, because I would find that irritating. And I would know. Alright, so for around this time, moving forward, we re-kick off the feud with formerly Premium, now Franchise, in a feud with the Elite Alliance.
Yeah.
I don't know, at this stage, I can't remember how it started. What was the first initial... Was it something with you and Ryan?
No, it would have been... Wait, no, it was big... Oh, Jesus Christ. Was it with Ryan?
I can't remember how it kicked off.
What was first?
Something
happened. Was it Dog Collar or Blade first?
I think Blade was first.
Blade was first, then it would have been because of that.
Yeah.
I was booked... it was Blade's first match back with the WZWA because he just returned to Backyard Wrestling in the main event of...
Hard Time.
Was it Hard Time?
Hard Time.
Yeah, Hard Time, yeah. And... Yeah, because Hard Time I was with Circus Royale, so that's when that was all finishing off, because I had like that competitive kind of thing still going on there. And Blade made his debut against me, and I was booked, and I was like, oh, I've been booked to face Blade.
Okay, so it kind of kicked off just because it just so happened.
It just so happened. I was like,
okay.
It's like maybe Aston's trying to he thinks he's giving Blade an easy one, but yada, 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 all that kind of stuff. And then I got destroyed by Blade, which I fucking loved.
And that's a question I'm asking right now. It's next. Wrestling Blade in his return to Backyard Wrestling
was so good because, again, it's the whole big guy thing. I love wrestling big guys because I'm a smaller guy, and the idea of being thrown around, beaten up by the big guy, and being the underdog. But in this case, I didn't get that underdog moment where I'd come back and do whatever. It was, I teased it, and like you can hear people like Alex was like, "You're meant to be fighting back. This is the underdog thing. Why aren't you fighting back?" But then, yeah, Blade just demolished me, which was sick. It was rain. It was dramatic as hell.
Yeah.
My birthday, he ruined my birthday.
Yeah.
Arsehole.
And it was his first match in 4 years.
Sorry. I just remember this now. The reason the EA thing kicked off was because I ruined Dan Zeppelin's birthday.
Gotcha.
We pushed a carrot cake into Dan Zeppelin's face, and then suddenly Franchise and EA had a huge issue that ended up how it did.
Okay, so that was the genesis of it. But
yeah.
That was right. Wasn't that at Pro Wrestling or something?
No, it was before my match.
Oh, was it just before the match with Blade? Okay, sorry.
And that's what kicked everything off.
We're getting all fucking kerfuffled.
I can't believe that the Franchise EA feud started because we pushed a cake into Dan Zeppelin's face.
It's because Dan Zeppelin was coming out as his birthday.
It was because Jack came out, he's like, it's Luke's birthday, give him a round of applause and stuff.
Dan comes out, no, it's my birthday.
Yeah, because my birthday was on the Sunday, his was Saturday, so his was on the actual day. Or maybe it's the other way around, I don't know. And he's like, "It's my birthday.
Someone
I
got
should
a
be
cake.
celebrating." Yeah,
You got a cake from Dan.
it was
didn't you?
it was a cake from Dan that said "fuck you, cunt," and that's
Yeah.
what deemed the finisher name, the fuck you, cunt.
Yeah.
And so we pushed the cake into Dan's face, and then it became apparently that's what made everything more heated.
Okay, gotcha. I don't know. The timeline is so hard sometimes to
it's a
keep
bit of
up
a mess.
with. There's been so much that's happened over the last few years. It's really hard to keep up. But
It was cool wrestling Blade, because obviously Blade was an XCW guy, and it was the first time I wrestled an XCW guy apart from you, obviously. And yeah, it was awesome for someone that hadn't been wrestling how long?
his last match was December 2010.
So like that's a good fucking 3-4 years since his last match. It didn't seem like he lost a step, and even though he was a bit worried about it, because I remember he laid a strike into me which was stiffer than the rest of them, and he immediately apologized. I'm like, it's wrestling. Like, what do you expect? It's got to hurt sometimes.
Probably just used to the XCW style of
But I was cool because I remember talking to him at the event afterwards, like when we were both waiting to be picked up. He's a cool guy, and I immediately like kind of clicked with him, and we got along well instantly. And I feel like I put him over pretty well, and he had a good showing in that match, which was good, which is the goal I was going for. Everyone was like, I don't know about you getting squashed by Blade. I was like, I was totally cool with it because...
Who said that?
I think it may have been Barrett, and then a few others that it's not coming to that. I feel like...
Well, it's his fucking first match. Of course he's going to win.
Yeah, well, fucking, I wouldn't have an issue with...
No, I didn't know. You did not have an issue at all. You were excited about losing to him. And around that time, you're actually saying, I want to lose cleanly to Steel. But I'm sure that will be brought up later on. We've got to keep going because, we're only 36 minutes into this one, but that's plus 18 minutes. But, so from there, you engage in a short little feud with Ryan Tate, which culminates in a dog collar match.
Yeah, because what happened was...
Alex missed a show, so he needed someone to fill in.
I had my match against Kai earlier that day where EA interfered.
Yeah. It
was more kicking off the fact that... I don't even know why they interfered now that I think about it. It probably would have had to do with the whole EA, Dan, Blade.
I think you guys cut a promo saying you're sick of how things are being run. You guys,
that would have been.
You guys started this fed, and Elite Alliance has ruined it.
Yep.
I think that was what it was.
So they come out, cost me my match, and then I faced Ryan that day in fill-in, which I really did like that collar match because I feel like
it was good. Yeah.
Me and Ryan do have chemistry. Last time, the first time we wrestled was Wham Bam, and the crowd was dead, and I felt like this was a time where we could get the crowd to actually respond and watch what I thought was a pretty good match.
Yeah.
For something that wasn't planned at all, I did enjoy that quite a lot.
Yeah. It was a solid match. So from there, possibly getting the timeline mixed up a little bit here
Just
again.
about.
But we have Clash of the Triads.
Yes. No, this is right. This is timeline-wise.
Is this on the right timeline?
Yeah. Because both of them have mentioned how they beat me at this stage.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So we get to Clash of the Triads. Your idea and your thoughts on the idea of the Clash of the Triads.
So good.
And how you guys went for the day.
The idea of having a tournament was something that Jack and I had always wanted to do, along with a bunch of other people as well. Then we had... I wasn't expecting the whole six-man... Like, the six-man tag.
Tournament.
Yeah, that wasn't an idea I was expecting. I was expecting almost like King of the Ring, because there was thoughts of a Commander of the Warzone.
Commander of the Warzone is supposed to be in 2013.
Yeah, that kind of tournament. That's what we were expecting.
Where the winner gets an army jacket instead of a crown. And now they've got an army gimmick for a year.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That was one of my ideas. I'm glad that didn't end up coming through. But, a big fucking army jacket would look sick. I'm the commander of the Warzone. But commander of the Warzone was actually supposed to be the guy that would be commissioner.
Oh.
That was the idea. He's the commander of the Warzone. He's in charge for the year. And then the next year when we do commander of the Warzone, then whoever wins that, he's suddenly in charge. That was the idea, but...
It makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, but I'm glad it didn't end up happening now, because otherwise... Old Aston Crude wouldn't have had his run, but
yeah.
Where are we? Clash of the Triads.
It was a lot of fun because it was, even though it was kind of serious and there was still parts of storylines in there, it was a lot more of a laid back event, and the teams were awesome because we had like Team XCW, Team EA, and then you had shit like Team ICWS where you got three guys, Dan Zeppelin, EA heel. DJ, who's fucking DJ, and at this stage no one knows what he is, if he's a face or a heel, but he's DJ.
He's moving slowly towards being a baby.
Yeah,
face.
and then you got Revolutionary, and these guys have completely different gimmicks to what they were in ICWS, and you want to see how they merge. Radical Army, which weren't a team until now. You had the like mixture of Radical Movement and Alex Stone.
Army, yeah.
And then you've got like Team WZWA Originals, where it was me, Jack, and Acid. So Acid, who we're feuding with, is now in our team. It was like an awesome concept that
many different elements in every team.
And like,
because Clint Marshall and DJ were feuding.
Yeah, exactly. It was like this. It was kind of storyline, kind of fun event.
Yeah,
and it went so brilliantly. Like that was one of my favorite
and the fun
events.
thing of that show was like everyone coming out to their old theme songs. Like Clint Marshall comes out to his old Led Zeppelin song, and Dan comes out to. And like Body Spray comes out together and stuff, and Del Cano comes out to his old theme, and it was a great show.
It was a lot of fun, and luckily for us, we managed to make it all the way to the finals, which was a cool moment. Got to wrestle a bunch of guys, including XCW, which was sick.
Yeah, got
to tangle with Nick and John, which was a cool little moment for me.
Lila.
Oh, fucking Lila. I believe that was her first moment of wrestling.
Her first proper moment of actually wrestling. And the match got called short for whatever reason by Jack. And I know Ryan Blade were a bit disappointed because they didn't get to go forward in the tournament. And then they're looking at all these other matches going 20, 22 minutes. And your match only went for like 10 minutes, if that. And Lila only got to come in for about
20 seconds all up, hit a clothesline on me, and then a full Nelson slam. But it was cool because Lila was not afraid to hit. Like, that clothesline hurt, which was good. Because you don't want a weak-looking clothesline.
No, and she really laid it in there.
Yeah, it was good.
But yeah, it was a good tournament. And good showing for you and Jack.
Yep.
Defying the odds each time with Acid being reluctant as your tag partner, and then eventually trying to help you guys win the tournament.
Yeah.
In the end, but the win for the Radical Army. From there, I just want to quickly skim through a little bit here with this feud with the Elite Alliance. Firstly, how are your thoughts on this feud with the Elite Alliance how it's going? I also want to talk about this new serious edge that you and Jack were supposed to take, but didn't quite take to it after the first time you did it.
I was liking the feud with EA because of the fact that it's kind of elevating us into the more of a main event position rather than mid card. Because EA is like at the time synonymous with like the top of the card. Like EA were most of the time in the main event scene. Like half the time they had the title, for fuck's sake. Dan was champion, you were champion. It was good, and now franchise are feuding with them. And at this stage, we're told about what the plans are. So we're like, okay, this is going to be sweet. We're feuding with EA. Awesome. We're going to make do with this, and we're going to make it good. And so we were seen as kind of jokes as well, in the fact that we came out with propeller caps and speed dealers half the time. So we weren't as serious as we probably should have been, seeing as we're feuding with the Elite Alliance. So Jack's like, I want to mix almost like a Japanese style of wrestling, and I previously told him I want to be like, I want the team to be more serious.
Well, I remember Rusty suggesting to you and Jack when he was around. You and Jack.
With like the kicks and stuff. Like,
check out some Japanese junior heavyweight tag teams, and you guys should think about that. Yeah,
and then I remember I was like, I do want to put a more serious spin, and Jack goes, yeah, I was thinking that as well. I kind of also want to mix in a style, like Japanese wrestling style feel to it, like Rusty said, and like we become more serious, and that's when the franchise promos came out, and like,
they were cool.
Unfortunately for us, it just was poorly timed with the Clash of the Tribes, where everyone was kind of having a fun time, and so I was ready to be serious, and then one entrance, Jack came out with speed dealers and did his MVP style pose, where it was just kind of arms raised in the air, and I was like, fuck, well, there goes that gimmick. And then out of nowhere, he continued with the gimmick, and then after we had stopped, and it was weird, but he kind of
he had like the face paint and stuff.
He kind of kept on with the gimmick, and I didn't, which kind of also worked in the fact that like it gave him something as well.
Yeah,
I could wrestle him like and just do my own thing in the team. and I wouldn't need the whole Japanese face paint, all that kind of stuff. It was good on my part.
Yep. So
almost like
time,
in EPW Chase and I can't remember what their names are, but you got the it was the good. I can't remember their names right now, but you had the almost crazy guy, and then you had the really nice guy. Do you not remember the really nice guy gimmick in EPW?
Oh, Dan Moore.
Dan Moore and Chase Griffin, their team. That was almost what I felt was us. In a sense, I was Dan, and then he was Chase.
Okay.
But yeah, moving on.
During this time, you guys dropped the tag titles to Blade and Ryan.
Yep.
You've also lost a dog collar match to Ryan. You've lost a singles match to Blade.
Yep.
So before I go even further than that, dropping the tag titles to them.
Yep.
How did you think that went?
It was a little bit upsetting because of the fact that Kyle went into ear surgery.
Yeah, that's why he had some time off. Kind
of messed up the idea of the triple threat tag match, but we still worked it as good as we could. I really do like the match,
and I really like that element of Jack gets eliminated. Kyle was supposed to be eliminated, and then you and Deacon suddenly become a tag team for like one night only to try and stop these two.
And then I eliminated Ryan, and then instantly destroyed by Blade. And then
he drilled the shit out of you.
It was so good. I was so happy with that because I got pushed off screen, and I was like, yes, that was actually really well done.
And for me, it was so nice to see Blade just get a pinfall victory to win a championship because he hadn't won a championship.
Well, he hadn't won the title at that stage.
He hadn't won a championship in, get this, 11 years.
Fucking hell.
2003 was an XCW Tag Team Champion. I wanted him to get a win and get the tag title. So,
but like the issue is when he pinned me, it was like new champion, but he still had to go through Deacon, and DK Joker, unfortunately with Circus Royale was kind of overshadowed a lot of the time by Kyle with his athleticism and stuff, and for the first time, Joker had that chance to like showcase himself.
Yeah.
And the crowd was like instantly behind him, which was perfect because everyone hated the EA.
Yeah,
and it's like perfect. This is Joker getting over, like a lot right now.
I was getting to a point where EA was starting to become a little bit overbearing.
Yeah,
that was the point.
And it worked well. And then Blade got the pin over DK with help from Tate, and it was brilliant. I loved it. It was the feud with franchises in EA, almost everyone kind of joined in, so it was like WZWA versus EA in a sense, which was good. I liked it. It was really well done, and I'm glad that Ryan, because I do like the tag title run that Ryan and Blade had.
Yeah,
I feel like they worked really well as a tag team with the whole.
They really did.
Big guy, strong, and even though Ryan's small and athletic, he's also strong. It worked really well.
Okay, so continue on with this part of you putting a lot of people over, as it seems, during this feud. And I told you and Jack initially, you guys ain't going to be winning for a while.
Yeah.
Because you guys are going to be basically taken to the woodshed.
Yeah.
And you're just going to lose quite a lot.
Yep.
Because we're obviously building up to this Resolution 3 thing that takes place, which we'll talk to in a minute. But Clash of the Triads, the thing with Acid, and then that turns into a short feud with the franchise against Acid.
Yeah.
He keeps attacking you guys after matches and stuff like that.
Yep.
Ends up, Acid defends his newly won Aussie title against Jack, and then you.
Yes.
So you wrestle Acid. I was disappointed in the match.
Yeah, I was kind of upset that was his final match because of the fact that it didn't go as planned. I mean, I was a bit worried.
Because he'd been having excellent match every show. Yeah. You had been having excellent match every show, so I thought, put them two together, we got gold.
My worry, it was another instance where, because of the match type, I got worried that I wouldn't be able to perform, and I feel like that kind of played up in my mind, and I was too focused on trying to make good of what I thought would be bad, and it was a chairs match, and like if you watch chairs matches in the past, no one cares about chairs matches. Like, even in the events, everyone's like, oh, chairs match. Okay, let's see if they can do anything with that. So I was too busy trying to, use the psychology of it being a chairs match and only using chairs that I kind of lost focus on having a good match.
Yeah.
And there was some alright spots. I took a suplex onto the fold-out chairs and everyone thought I broke my back, which was fun. I took a dodgy blue thunder bomb and looked like I broke my arm, and Acid looked like he was killing me in front of his mates, which also was good for him as well. It could have been better. It was alright, I would say. It was alright.
Okay. And then the last person that you kind of put over, and it sucks, during this whole time you never even wrestled me or Dan Zeppelin, the two of the founding members of the Elite Alliance, in a singles match, but you put over Nick Ariel
yes,
for the Backyard Championship.
Yep.
Once again, I'm not going to say I was disappointed. I just think it could have been better.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
But I can probably say that one was because of the fact that... Wait a second. I'm trying to get this right with the timeline. Yeah, no, this is right.
It was Gentleman's Duel.
Yes, I was on levers at this stage.
Oh, that's right. And you weren't even.
I wasn't. I didn't have any gear. I was at levers celebrating graduating year 12, and I carpooled with Mitch because I was in Bunbury. So luckily enough for me, I was able to make it to the show. So I was a lot more focused. I didn't have enough time to plan with Nick. I was too busy, being an idiot in Bunbury, drinking too much, all that kind of stuff. And we tried to make do of what we had. I didn't have gear. It was a street fight. I tried to play it off. I don't know. It could have been better, but we made do with what we had. So
yeah,
I mean, it could have been worse.
It
could have been Christmas Carnage 2012.
And how was it wrestling Nick Ariel?
It was fun. I remember trying to tell him we should try having a serious match rather than a joking one, and then I got caught up in the moment and made it a joking one as well. So that's on me. He was actually acting pretty serious until I decided to hit a double axe handle, and then it kind of went downhill from there. Once you hit a double axe handle, it's kind of yeah.
All right. So from there, we're heading towards Resolution 3.
Yes,
which is without a doubt the best show we've ever had.
Indeed.
So let's just get to it. 6-man tag turns into 4 versus 3 handicap.
Yep.
Myself, Ryan Tate, Dan Zeppelin, Blade Shaw versus yourself, Jack Wallace, and JD Flame.
Yep.
Okay. Fucking great.
Yes, fucking loved it.
The drama.
It was so good. I was a bit worried going into this match that it wouldn't be seen by a lot of the people as like a big match, even though it's like the consequences of it were pretty big, and like everything that would happen afterwards, all the fallout would be huge. A 6-man tag that ended up being a handicap match didn't really have a lot of fire going behind it when it comes to the crowd, because it's not like a one-on-one like last man standing style thing. It's a tag match. But we managed to get the crowd into it, and they all got pumped up, and we had an awesome match. I mean, the intensity was there from the get-go. I mean, I broke my nose. Yeah. Like, it was awesome from the start, and like it was awesome match to be ending the feud with, and I was happy with everything that happened.
It's the big end of the Elite Alliance. Finally. Yep. Finally, it's all over.
And then we had the big moment.
We had the big moment, of course, with Diffuser. His one and only appearance in WZWA.
And I can't believe that I was involved in that, because that was insane. That was like intense. And the lights go out, the crowd goes nuts. Like I couldn't even see him at the entranceway, but the people that were surrounding the stage, like, saw the silhouette kind of like outline of him and freaked out because they knew instantly, holy shit, it's Diffuser. Yeah. Lights go on, everyone goes mental. I'm lying down after I've just been drilled by every finisher from the EA, trying not to freak out myself, because he's finally here. After so long of wanting him here, Diffuser has finally showed up in the WZWA, and it's involved in a storyline that I'm involved in. Yeah. And it was just an incredible moment, seeing him just destroy the EA. Ref is down, drops you on your head, and I stopped selling just to freak out a little bit because I thought you died. And I'm like, okay, back to selling, and JD gets the pin. EA done, franchise and JD win. Incredible moment. Diffuser raises, like, he actually raises my hand. I was like, yes! Fanboy moment. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, I was just stoked with how that ended up.
Crowd went nuts. Yeah. Crowd was nuts throughout the entire thing.
So we're taking a bit of a break from WZWA at this point. Unfortunately. Yep. we had to have a break because I was burned out. A few people were feeling burned out. I wanted to have a couple months break.
Yeah.
Ended up turning into
half a year, wasn't it?
Well, 3 or 4 months break. But our finally our comeback show is Hard Time. But I want to talk about this time between Resolution and Hard Time and the situation you felt you were in with the possibility of WZWA going under. How did you feel about all of that going down?
Well, it was pretty...
Because there were a few times where Jack said, this is it, it's over.
Yeah, it was pretty scary because at this stage, you know, graduated, I'm going to TAFE, but one of the main things in my life was wrestling, backyard wrestling. I wasn't ready to give it up. Like, at some point, I know I will have to give it up. And who knows, maybe I'll go pro, whatever.
I thought that when I was 18 as well.
Yeah.
10 years later.
But, like, I wasn't ready to give up WZWA because it'd been such a huge part of my life. And it was like, I was becoming, like, distressed at the idea that WZWA is over.
There was so much more to achieve. So much more for everyone to achieve. Not just Jacob right now as the heavyweight champion, but you have a heel turn.
Yeah.
Like, Mitch have his proper title run. Everyone get the opportunity to do things that they never really got the chance to at this stage.
And unfortunately, it seemed like everything was coming to an end. Like the definition of an abrupt end is how it looked like it was happening. Yeah. And it was a mess. Everyone was pleading for it not to happen. We were wanting to talk to Noel, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And fortunately for us, we managed to fix that one up a little bit.
Yeah. Space
out the schedule a little bit, which is probably doing everyone a little bit of good.
Yeah, I think it's been great. I think everything's going really good right now.
Yeah, we're in a really good time right now. Which is perfect.
And I think once a month was getting a little bit much for it.
Yeah.
But, you know, now we've got ICWS, so if we need something to tide some of us over, at least we've got that.
And plus, everyone's getting a lot older now, so it's like it's not like we're all, you know, some of us are teenagers, some of us are young adults. It's just like now we've got time to do other things as well as wrestling.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be just about wrestling. So anyway, we get to Hard Time 4.
Yep.
This show is significant in a way because, well, for you, who do you go 1-on-1 with?
Dark Ice.
That's the first time ever.
Yep, and I was really excited for that match, and it was another.
Because at this time we were under the impression he's retiring and he ain't coming back. Yeah. So I was like, well, let's fucking pop Luke Monet in there quickly just to get a match out of it.
Yep. It was another instance of Ice needs to look dominant because he's just been defeated by NC Viper, like a pro wrestler, and he's fucking pissed off. And I was so happy to put him over. I was happy to be tossed around and killed. I nearly died twice in that match from bumping because I just went to oversell it and it was worth it. Got to take choke slams and all that stuff, and I got my own little shine moments and all that stuff, so I had a lot of fun with that. And yeah, I got to say that I wrestled Dark Ice, and I hope maybe one day, if he's, you know, not done, I don't think he's done now.
No, he's coming back.
He said in the podcast.
He said he'll be back at Resolution. Brilliant.
I hope to have a much more competitive match with him where it's like back and forth, all that stuff, rather than, you know, me dying. But, you know, I'll take what I can get. That was a fun match. I loved it. He kind of, out of nowhere, was like, oh yeah, by the way, they're going to make this a hardcore match. Like, that wasn't, I don't remember planning that at all. I remember the finish was chokeslam, and then suddenly he brought in a guardrail. I was like, fuck, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, that's right, you got fucking killed.
But I mean, that's probably because Ice was like, yeah, he'll take this, because he's right, I would take that. I'm perfectly fine with taking a bump like that. And I guess he's just, yeah, it was good.
So the next show is WZWA False Finish.
Yeah.
Which is a clever little name when it was supposed to be called Curtain Call.
Yeah.
But WZWA False Finish, you go 1-on-1 with the hipster of a G.
Johnny V.
The Hall of Famer Johnny V.
Yeah.
So, your thoughts on finally getting to have the opportunity to wrestle Johnny V?
Well, it was weird because I was meant to face him at
Christmas
Carnage, and I was placed in that pre-show Battle Royal to make just because he wasn't there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier in the show, I had turned heel because at Hard Time, Jack started booking his own storyline mid-match. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, I noticed that there was a bit of dissension going on.
He goes, he's climbing the turnbuckle, and he goes, "Oi, try to stop me from doing this." I'm like, what? Why would I do that? He's like, just stop it. We're going to tease a breakup. And usually, as a booker, you'd be like, no, don't book your own storyline mid-match. But I was like, all right, let's see how it goes.
You guys didn't want to be together much longer.
We were like, we realized that our time was coming to an end. We both kind of got as much as we can out of the franchise, and we're like, okay, let's see how it goes from here. And then the whole teasing dissension thing actually ended up working really well in that match.
Yeah,
made for some good spots for them. It worked pretty well. And then I finally had a heel turn where it wasn't like a brutal me attacking Jack. It was like a dissension. It was
just a true to life. Fuck this, I'm out of here. And
exactly.
then you've had enough.
And I remember trying to plan with John, whilst trying to surprise him with a heel turn. He's like, "Yeah, I'm thinking we do like kind of a Sheamus Dolph Ziggler face versus face, because this is when Sheamus was face versus face kind of feud, like little match thing." And I was like, "Oh, you're planning this just as I'm trying to turn heel."
Should have told him that he's turning heel.
I did eventually. I'm like, all right, I'll tell you, I'm heel at this event. And he's like, oh, shit, okay, so you're the heel now. And we had to plan with me as a heel. And he came up with all these ideas of how we should start it, how we should go around. And it was really good, probably because John had an idea as to how I should portray myself as a heel in this match. Like, the idea of me opening the match with attacking him from behind on the apron, that was all his idea. And yeah, it was an awesome moment to finally face John, because I'd been waiting for so long to face John, and I finally got the opportunity to, and I feel like we had a pretty good match.
I keep saying it's John's best match since he's been back in Backyard Wrestling as a singles competitor.
I did enjoy it a lot. I feel like I made him look like pretty good. I'm pretty proud with that match. He made me look like a good heel for my first heel match and first heel appearance in WZWA. I feel like I can thank that mostly because of John trying to make me look good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was pretty happy with how that came around.
So let's talk about the heel turn. Why did you want to turn heel? Because you pitched it to me.
Yeah. I'd been faced...
Because originally the heel turn was supposed to be, a while after the fact, but...
I had been waiting to be heel. I can't remember how long ago I started like bothering you about becoming a heel, because I felt like I could be a good heel, and I was like, I feel like I can have a decent heel run, and I want to show myself as not only just a face, but I want to show myself in a new light and stuff. And then you finally, after so long, were like, fuck it, okay, let's give this a try. We'll see how this runs. And then it wasn't. I remember because Mitch was like, I don't know if that was a heel turn or not, because people were booing Jack. So my first appearance as a heel was me turning on Jack, and it made me look like a face.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I had to cut the promo.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, the promo went across pretty well, and I got good reception for that. And I was like happy with how that promo went. I got a lot of good feedback, and I was like, okay, I've got all this momentum. Need to build up from this. Got to make myself look as good of a heel as possible right now, because now there's a lot of momentum going behind me, because I cut a good promo.
Yeah.
Then the one good promo I cut in a long time was when I was heel. I was like, yes. Of all the times to cut a good promo, thank God it was during my turn.
Yeah. So, it was good. It was a good promo, and you didn't have a microphone, but you didn't need it. And once you cut that promo, I was like, okay, we made the right decision.
Yeah.
But what's the idea of turning heel? Was that before Jacob turned heel? Because for some reason, I got this thing in my head where Jacob turned heel and it was going so well for him straight away. And I don't know why, but I thought maybe Luke saw what Antilochus was doing, and maybe he felt, I want to do that as well. I want to have a drastic change as well.
Well, I had been wanting to be a heel for a while, but I pushed for it more and more after I saw what Jacob did, because So I was right in my assumption. Okay. Because pulled off one of the best like heels I've ever seen, and for someone that was a top babyface, because me and him were like on like kind of the same level of babyface for a long time, like, and seeing him pull that out and go straight up heel, I was like, fuck, if he could do it, I feel like I could do it as well.
Yeah, I guess there's been a lot of parallels between you and Jacob over the years.
Yeah.
Backyard champ, Aussie champ, tag teams that you're both in. Both being, rising baby faces from the mid-card and all that. Feuding with the Elite Alliance and all that. So, you've turned heel, and I want to talk about Bowl of Mixed Nuts quickly, because that's a significant match as far as I'm concerned. It's the WZWA Originals getting to be in a match together, in a tag team match. You and Antilochus against Jack Wallace and Rex Regum. Jack's just aligned himself with Daniel Johnston. Your thoughts on how that went, and how important is that match?
Well, it was weird, because for so long it'd been me and Jack as a tag team, and for the first time ever I'd been tag teaming with someone else to face Jack and Chris. And it was like because Chris he's been having this babyface run, and it's kind of been, he's a face, he's the generic face, getting pops and stuff, but he doesn't really have a character. And Jack's now getting his first actual proper character with DJ. And now Jacob and I, since the last time we faced, because the last time we had a tag match like this was ICWS, where all four of us were in the same match, and it's like, it shows how far we've come from there. And now Jacob and I are these heels and their faces, and it was like, this is how far we've come since the start of WZWA with the ring. And this Originals match is going to show you that we've now kind of made it all the way to the top where we felt like we should have been back then. And I feel like that match, that's one of my favourite matches I've ever had, because of the fact that it worked so well. It was like my favourite tag match as well, even though I've had such good tag matches like the triangle ladder match and stuff like that. I felt like that tag match worked perfectly for the heel turns and stuff.
Agreed. So from there, kicking off a new feud with you and Mykonos.
Finally.
And we have now aligned you with Antilochus.
Yes.
So the dynamic of you and Antilochus is completely different to what it was like with you and Jack. So your thoughts on, aligning with Antilochus, and also reigniting, well, not really reigniting a feud with you and Mykonos, but having a proper feud this time with Mykonos.
Well, for a while now, Jacob and I had been talking about, after I turned heel, was like, can you imagine if we managed to be like an alliance or something? How sick would that be? And then I pitched it to you, and you're like, that's kind of how I wanted this to go. And I'm like, all this kind of stuff. I was like, sweet.
Yeah, it was like it was already in my head.
Yeah.
I think I just thought the idea once.
Yeah.
Thought that would be cool, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. And then me and Jacob were both keen on it, and it was the idea of not a tag team, because we'd both been in tag teams. We both didn't like the idea of the tag partner holding us down. It's two guys trying to get to the top, and like they'll help each other get to the top, but they're at the top for themselves as well. And it was just like,
and you both got your own goals.
Yeah,
you want to be GBYWN Australian Champion. He wants to be a heavyweight WZWA Heavyweight Champion.
And we're not going to get into each other's way while doing it.
Yeah,
I mean, sure, we'll help each other out, but like when it comes to us, we want our separate titles, and we want our separate like I don't know how, pedestals almost. And it's a cool moment saying that I've now formed a tag team, not a tag team, an alliance with someone else that's not Jack, because Jack and I's careers have always kind of lined up, and now suddenly we're both doing completely different things. He's in 1990 Awesome with DJ, which is fucking ridiculous, and now I'm a heel with Antilochus, which is something that I don't think anyone would have seen coming like a year ago. No,
and in saying that, do you ever feel? Have you ever felt like, it would have been cool just to be on my own?
Sometimes, but I don't know. I don't know how I'd go on my own, because now I'm so used to kind of being in an alliance or kind of being in a team. And I had that slight time where I was on my own when I had my GBYWN Australian Heavyweight Championship run when I was facing Ryan and stuff. Even then, that was only like 5 months maybe. It was a weird feeling because I don't know, I was just on my own. So now I have no issue with being with anyone else. If I was on my own, cool. If I'm in a tag team, cool. It's how it goes.
Yep. All right. So from there, let's just ask the future of Luke Monet in WZWA. How do you see it going in the next year, 2 years, 3 years?
Well, I hope for myself to be one of the top guys, if not like the top guy. I know that Ryan's talked about being the slimiest, dirtiest heel, but now that I'm a heel, that's kind of my goal as well. I want to be the top heel. And currently, Jacob holds that right to his heart, and unfortunately, I'm in an alliance with him, so I can't really just be like, oh, I'm the better heel, so I better make you look like shit and make myself look even better. We both got to work together here and make us both look awesome, and hopefully, sorry Ryan, we'll make you look like shit because we're going to be the best heels possible. My bad, Ryan. But yeah, I'm hoping to be one of the top guys, but soon enough it is going to come to a stage where I will have to, tie things down, because I do plan on going pro one day, but I don't see that coming for a while. I've still got a lot to go in backyard wrestling, so I'm going to be sticking around for a while. Suck shit, everyone. You get to see this brown fucker for a while.
Yeah.
Haha. But yeah.
Well, they look at brown things every day. So
yeah, might as well.
Might as well just add another brown thing to the list.
Exactly.
And by brown things, I meant like poo.
I assume so.
Like
what?
Brown poo.
Brown poo. Yeah, big brown.
Yeah, and it smells.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Well, better.
There we have it. That's your career.
Yeah, lovely.
I think we've talked the shit out of all of it. But we'll come back for part 3 with a Q&A.
Q&A.
This has just gone over an hour and a half.
Goodie.
So thanks, mate.
No worries, mate.
And we'll get with Luke Monet for the Q&A. Oh, that rhymed. I wish I could do that all the time. That's a quote from Tales of the Warzone.
I noticed. I
am Aston Creed. Thank you for listening to part 2 of my interview with Luke Monet. We'll be with you very shortly for part 3, the Q&A from Da Boys in the WZWA. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.